There's more! I'm back! CGI shit!
I rest my case.
It was fucking horrible!
Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to another opening night Star Wars edition as we are working on the prequels. This time around, I am really excited to watch this week's Disney Plus series, something I've been wanting to watch fully for a while, that being Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. Not based on the comic books with great artwork by Dave Dormain, unfortunately. But what is Tales of the Jedi, you might be asking this time around? Well, it's pretty much part of the Dave Filoni Clone Wars era of Star Wars. It is a continuation of it. It is an anthology series that takes place in between the timelines, and it mostly focuses on two primary characters, Ahsoka Tano, and of all people, Count Dooku. Yes, Christopher Lee's character from episodes 2 and 3. This short series, which each episode's about 10 minutes long max, focuses on the origins and outcomes of these characters. The origins and outcomes of Ahsoka, which only take about 3 episodes, maybe 4, I can't remember, are quite interesting, to be honest. They focus on Ahsoka's origins, where she was born, how she was easily strong with the Force, and how she was ultimately declared a Jedi by her family and sent to Coruscant to train. And it's a really interesting episode as a starting point. We see a little baby Ahsoka, much like Baby Yoda, it's adorable, or Grogu, and it kind of has a bit of that Avatar vibe where she's connecting with the animals and stuff, so it's kind of like the Na'vi. Like, her species, I don't know, I can't remember what they're called, very Na'vi-esque, which is interesting. But then later on, we come back to Ahsoka later on, where we see her training hard with Anakin in how to survive, and with the clones with Captain Rex, another short segment that's cool. But then time jumps over to after Revenge of the Sith, where it turns out, by the way, spoilers, she was there for Padme's funeral. She stuck around on Naboo with Captain Rex after the events of the Clone Wars series, which she and her and him survived. And then we actually see something interesting where she's off-grid helping different villages and different planets, and then when they find out she has the Force, they rat her out to an Inquisitor, one of the big Inquisitors. Great design, but underused. Like, Ahsoka kills him in a matter of seconds, which is a shame. But it does set up the fact that she takes his lightsaber and purifies it to be white, which leads to her lightsabers we later see in Rebels. Now, something I forgot to point out that was cool about the Acolyte was, I did like the idea of seeing the lightsaber bleed, like the crystal from blue to red was pretty damn cool. And here, we don't really see that. We don't see her purify those crystals, but it is sort of hint at that's where they came from. And again, her stuff is interesting. It adds more to her character. Was it necessary? Not really, but it is rather cool to see her origins and how she ended up where we eventually see her in Rebels. And then we have the best part, which is the one I want to focus on, Count Dooku's origins. This is something that the prequels never really explored enough of. Neither did the Clone Wars series. And here, it's rectified, and it is amazing. It takes up, I think, a grand total of, like, 3 or 4 episodes. And it's a great arc. We start by seeing him training before Phantom Menace, a young Qui-Gon Jinn, who is actually voiced by Liam Neeson's son, which is a nice touch to detail. As we see, him and Qui-Gon go to a village that has been has kidnapped a senator's of the Galactic Republic's son, but then it turns out this senator is kind of a douchebag. He's a dictator, so he turns on the Jedi he hired And it leads to a great scene where Count Dooku, for the first time, seeing the innocence of people being killed by the Republic, he immediately turns on them, starts embracing the dark side with his really cool blue curved lightsaber. I thought that was cool. That was a nice nod. I figured Dooku had a blue lightsaber, especially given the fact when I played the Episode 3 video game, his opposite skin was a blue lightsaber, which was cool. And it's cool that they added that here, and how, even Qui-Gon's like, Master, you're acting weird, and, Count Dooku's like, off boy, let me handle this. And I love that line when he's force choking the senator, and he says, corruption like you must be eradicated. Like, that is chilling. I love the fact there's some, like, organ music in the score. Very much seeing him, like, a huge respect to Christopher Lee as the character and how he was basically Dracula with the lightsaber, which I think was awesome. The only thing I will say, and I bring this up later in one of my prequel reviews, how the Clone Wars denied us a meeting and a union between Count Dooku and Tarkin shocks me. Because that would bring it full circle, because Lee came into Star Wars to pay respect to eventually meeting Peter Cushing, who he was best friends with during the Hammer days. And to not have these two ever have an interaction in any of these shows shocks me. I think Dave Filoni and Lucasfilm could really rectify that someday to see these two interact and meet. That would be cool, honestly, to see these two come together at some point. So with that, back to Count Dooku's origins. The next episode focuses on him and Mace Windu in a thing with Republic forces that are corrupted. My only complaint is that this is again all before Phantom Menace, and they've retconned Mace Windu's blue lightsaber, which really upsets me. I wanted to see Mace Windu with the blue lightsaber. Now, granted, I think in some expanded canon they explained he actually had two lightsabers. He had the blue one and the purple one. Then give us dual-wielding Mace Windu. Shit, that sounds awesome. I don't know why we were deprived of that as well, but again, missed opportunity, but pretty cool to see these two interact. To see more of Mace Windu is always great. The third episode focuses mainly on, obviously he's becoming more and more corrupted with the dark side, and he finds out that Mace Windu also took his position on the Jedi Council, so he's more like, okay, this is why, you can see why he left the Order, and he left and lost faith in the Republic. It's all set up there, which is great. But it also shows that he was there during the events of The Phantom Menace, because we see by the time Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan arrive on Coruscant with Anakin to see him tested, Count Dooku is erasing the Jedi archives of Kamino and Master Sifo-Dyas, so he's already doing Darth Sidious's dirty work, which is amazing. Now, I think it's established that Darth Plagueis and Sidious at the time were working together as well during Phantom Menace, so in grand total, by the time we get to Phantom Menace, there is a grand total of 4 Sith in the timeline. We have Sidious, we have Plagueis, we have Darth Maul, and we have Count Dooku. Now, what's funny is that Sidious is killing Plagueis, but Sidious is also training Maul, but knowing Maul's demise, he's already converting Count Dooku. So he's been working like a whole, one-way chess game, which is, again, brilliant. And with Count Dooku, he goes and obviously steals from the archives, and it's cool to see that. It fills in those gaps that we never saw in the prequels, and I do appreciate them doing that. But what I really love is seeing Count Dooku's final meeting with his apprentice Qui-Gon, this time played by Liam Neeson, and him discussing how very highly Obi-Wan Kenobi. Again, going back to a line from Attack of the Clones where he says, Qui-Gon always spoke very highly of you. It's a shame our paths have never crossed before, Obi-Wan. Because I love that Count Dooku at the very end of that conversation says, I would like to meet Obi-Wan someday. That was nice. Basically, with Count Dooku, realizing Qui-Gon died at the hands of Darth Maul, that's where he leaves the Order, and he has a really good connection with the Jedi that we never really explored in Episode 1, and has gone missing throughout the prequels, and we see why. That being Yaddle, who is the other Yoda species on the Council. And something I didn't know, it was a girl, it was a female, and here they got an actress who was well casted in voicing her. Bryce Dallas Howard, of all people, is the voice of Yaddle and a great addition. Bryce Dallas Howard has been doing great things for the film industry. She was in Jurassic World. She's done directing, following in her father's footsteps for things like Star Wars, so it's cool to see her brought here as one of the actors and characters in the show. Now, what I love is sort of Dooku's trials in becoming Darth Tyrannus, in which he has to kill Yaddle, and it's pretty sad and heartbreaking. They made Count Dooku a tragic Shakespearean character, and you see how you feel like he knows what he's doing is right, even though it's wrong. It adds that dynamic to the character that now when I go watch Star Wars, I'll no longer unsee. I see a tragic character, and it's most of these Sith apprentices. But what I do love is like when he goes and confronts Sidious and he said, "You let Maul kill Qui-Gon. What the hell?" And it's Darth Sidious like, well, that happens. And it's Ian McDiarmid back as the Emperor. At this point, they're just bringing him on over and over to voice the Emperor or play the Emperor, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Ian McDiarmid getting more work as Palpatine. But honestly, in my opinion, the two arcs, I prefer Dooku's origin over the Ahsoka stuff. Because, again, Count Dooku wasn't really that explored, and it's nice to see them kind of wrap things up with this character, where we now get a full understanding why he did what he did, why he converted, and it's sad, it's tragic, it's interesting, and I love it for that. I think it's a really great addition to the current canon of Star Wars. So that was my favorite part of the arc. Now, I do know there is a follow-up season called Tales of the Empire, which, again, I'm looking forward to watching. But overall, Tales of the Jedi, I like a hell of a lot better than The Acolyte. It definitely adds more. It's a shorter series. You could watch it in under an hour. And I thoroughly had a good time with this one. I liked seeing the origins of Count Dooku, and I liked the stuff with Ahsoka. There is stuff there that I thoroughly enjoyed. And in this case, I'm definitely giving this an 8 out of 10, mainly because the Ahsoka stuff lacked a little bit, but it was really the Count Dooku stuff that made it all worthwhile, and I had a blast with this. So definitely an 8 out of 10. Check this one out. This is one of the few Disney Star Wars products that actually does pretty damn well, and I want more of this. This is actually kind of cool. Let me know your thoughts on Tales of the Jedi in the comment section below. Next time, we're probably going to look at Tales of the Empire. I'm looking forward to watching more of that. But let me know your thoughts on it in the Tales of the Jedi in the comments below. Don't forget to support our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you early access to all of our content as well as other special features. And until next time, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off saying, watch Tales of the Jedi. And maybe read the comics. The comics are okay. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Take it easy. The Star Wars stuff is continuing. Let's go.